it looks like Jen Rosati and Don Staley and all those folks that Cheryl Reeve, who had a hand in Caitlin Clark not making Team USA last year in the Olympics, the actual committee, looks like they may be gone.
What happens when the most marketable athlete in women's basketball is left off the Olympic roster? Apparently, it sets off a firestorm, and major consequences follow.
I'd rather watch paint dry. I'd rather watch dirt just be moved around because Caitlin Clark's not on the team, and she's there at the point that she be. You people, whoever did this, honestly, hey, take your brain, put it in a museum, and study it for how dumb it is.
In a twist that feels like pure karma, USA Basketball has announced a total revamp of its selection process after the shocking Olympic snub of Caitlin Clark. And yes, heads are rolling. Key figures are out, including Cheryl Reeve and Sue Bird, is now taking the reins. With this shakeup, the road to Los Angeles 2028 suddenly looks wide open for the Indiana Fever's rising star. No one saw this fallout coming, but it's clear the decision sparked major change. If you're hyped to see Caitlin in the Olympics, drop a CC 2028 in the comments. Let's go!
Dawn Staley, Jennifer Rizzuti, and all of the hooligans associated in picking the USA basketball team. All of the hooligans, Cheryl Reeve included, so full of themselves, so bound by tribalism that they just couldn't look past their own nose. And at the end of the day, look at them. Look at them now. The same fate as Cheryl Swoops calling those Dallas Wings. Tell me when I'm telling lies.
The Olympic Committee claimed to have solid reasons for leaving Caitlin Clark off the roster, or at least that's the narrative they wanted us to believe. According to Selection Committee Chair Jen Rosati, the decision was strictly based on basketball factors. Experience and past international play carried weight, while marketability and fan popularity, she insisted, had no role in the final call.
During the Olympics, a person from either South Korea or Japan, holding up the Caitlin Clark sign, Team USA looked at that gentleman and said, $, $. These people over there in Japan, these people over there in South Korea, they're not paying for Team USA to come and watch you, but they'll pay for Caitlin Clark. In fact, they are so strong about voicing that they'll pay for Caitlin Clark. They'll come to the Olympic Games holding a sign that says, you guys.
Wait, seriously? They passed over the most electrifying player in women's basketball, the one who shattered NCAA scoring records and completely reshaped the sport's popularity in under a year? How does that add up? And let's be clear, it's not just about popularity. Caitlin Clark has real international experience too. She's played for Team USA at the FIBA U19 level, won gold twice, and even took home tournament MVP. So how do you leave that off the...
Caitlin Clark is PR. That's where, how can they leave her? Once again, everybody's, out to get her. They don't want to grow the game.
Let's break down what really happened when Caitlin Clark entered the WNBA. Ticket prices skyrocketed every time the Fever came to town, sometimes multiplying several times over. Arenas that were half empty suddenly saw sellout crowds. Her debut, game against the Connecticut Sun, pulled in more viewers than any NBA playoff game that weekend. Clark's jersey instantly became the highest-selling rookie jersey in WNBA history by a mile. And don't forget, during her record-breaking rookie season, she shattered an incredible 62 records. This wasn't just hype, this was history in the making.
You gotta remember, the National Basketball Association, the NBA, the commissioner, Adam Silver, he came right out and said, I wouldn't have left Caitlin Clark off that team. And he even said, and several others said, women's basketball really dropped the ball on an opportunity to grow the women's game by leaving Caitlin Clark off that team.
These weren't just minor improvements. This was a seismic shift in how people consumed women's basketball, and somehow the Olympic Committee decided this player wasn't valuable enough for the team. The backlash was immediate and fierce basketball. Insiders saw through the thin justification Stephen A. Smith didn't hold back blasting the decision as one that actively hurt the growth of women's basketball at its most pivotal moment. Lisa Leslie, a four-time Olympic gold medalist herself, called it the biggest marketing mistake in basketball history.
What I will personally label the idiocy of Team USA women's basketball. How dare you make this decision? It's stupid.
You know what this really exposed? An outdated system run by people stuck in the past. The selection committee acted like it was still 2004 when women's basketball was begging for attention, instead of recognizing how far the game has come. They didn't just overlook a talented player. They missed a once-in-a-generation chance to elevate the entire sport on a global stage. Think about it. The Olympics are when casual fans actually tune in, when new stars are made. And yet, the committee chose to leave out the one player who had already proven she could bring those fans in by the million.
For the first time, like in the history of basketball, you have arguably a player who is the most popular player in the world. Like, you could argue right now, Caitlin Clark is the most talked about, discussed, most popular, most puts asses in the seats, single basketball player in the world. You could argue that. Yeah, you can say maybe LeBron, Luka, whatever you want. You can argue. And you leave her off the Olympics team. It's not only a showcase for her, it's for the sport and the other WNBA players who are on this team. How dumb, how brain dead, how idiotic do the people running this thing have to be?
This wasn't just a missed opportunity for Caitlin Clark. It was a missed moment for women's basketball as a whole. By clinging to experience over star power, the committee ignited a PR firestorm that couldn't be contained. The backlash was overwhelming, and the blunder too glaring to justify. But as intense as the public reaction was, it only scratched the surface. The Clark snub revealed deeper issues within USA basketball, cracks in the foundation that had been growing for years. This wasn't an isolated misstep. It was the inevitable outcome of a flawed, outdated system teetering on collapse, with its architects now facing the consequences.
It would have been the biggest ratings of the Olympic Games last year. All right, and yeah, I don't know what it could have done to women's basketball.
While Reeve wasn't the only voice at the table, her influence on the selection process was undeniable. Even Jen Rosati, the selection committee chair, acknowledged that the roster was built to fit Reeve's coaching style. So when Reeve claims she had no power, what she really means is she didn't want to face the backlash when fans started asking why the most electrifying player in women's basketball was left watching from home.
As a coach of the home team, there's going to be a lot of people cheering for that other side. I mean,
I'll get two shits.
How about one?
Not even one shit.
Every second guess you hear about not having Clark on the Olympic team.
From me? No.
Look at the players who made the final roster. Veterans who fit Reeve's system and players focused more on defense than offensive explosiveness. The committee's selections clearly mirrored Reeve's Minnesota Lynx philosophy, a style that almost cost Team USA the gold medal.
Losing the gold medal game to France, the U.S. women's team was caught up in controversy leading up to the Olympics because Caitlin Clark was not on the team. The argument not to take Clark, a rising global megastar in the sport, was in part because she had not participated in many Team USA offseason functions, and also because there were women with more national team experience who had earned the right to play at the Olympics.
Remember that nail-biter against France? Team USA barely pulled off a 67-66 win in a game they were expected to dominate. Throughout the tournament, the team struggled to create consistent offense in key moments. The ball movement was sluggish, and when defenses collapsed on Aja Wilson or Brianna Stewart inside, there wasn't enough three-point shooting to counter. These are the very reasons why a player like Caitlin Clark could have made all the difference. At times, the team looked predictable and flat, missing the energy and creativity that Clark brings to the game.
To be on the team. Based on how Caitlin Clark was playing at the time, she was worthy of being on this team. This is Caitlin Clark up against Jewel Lloyd, Diana Taurasi and Kelsey Plum. Yeah. It's tough when you see it in front of you, right? Chelsea Gray's not even on this graph. Why isn't Chelsea Gray on this graph, you may ask? Great question. Chelsea Gray started the beginning of the season injured.
The strongest evidence against Reeve's decision came from Caitlin Clark herself. Before the Olympic snub, Clark was averaging 15.6 points and 6.3 assists per game. After being left off the team, those numbers soared to nearly 23 points and 9.5 assists. She even set a WNBA rookie record with 19 assists in a single game. Clark didn't just improve, she exploded, making the committee's assessment of her readiness look downright absurd.
Based on skill, based on how she was performing, deserved to be on that team. Based on Chelsea Gray coming off hobbled from injury, you don't even know the status of her as a player. Caitlin Clark should have been on that team. She was easily one of the best players from Jump Street. Her struggling. Oh my God, she's struggling with 16 points, 6 assists, and 5.5 rebounds. Oh my God, the struggle. She's shooting 39%. Yeah, Jewel Lloyd always shoots like trash. Kelsey, you got...
Reeve's response to the situation only added fuel to the fire when a reporter asked about Clark's Olympic future. After a game, Reeve snapped, "Why the hell would I answer a national team question?" At the time, she was wearing her Minnesota Lynx gear, clearly distancing herself from Olympic responsibilities when the questions turned uncomfortable. This wasn't just one poor decision. It was a reflection of leadership that refused to adjust to the evolving landscape of women's basketball. Yes, the USA won gold, but they came dangerously close to blowing.
Look at this. These are the top 3 scorers in the WNBA since the women brought home gold in the Olympics a few weeks ago. 2 of the members are of the Indiana Fever, Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell.
The combination of Reeve's questionable roster choices, the team's lackluster performance, and her defensive response to valid criticism created a perfect storm. Something had to give. USA Basketball could no longer afford to stick with a system that valued tradition over talent and marketability.
Women's basketball, the one South Carolina has the national championship, a perfect season. Obviously, Caitlin Clark. And there's so much conversation on should Caitlin be on the U.S. women's national team. You were part of the selection group. Give me your read on that. Now that we've got a little bit of time, we can get into some clear air to see what happens.
Right. As a committee member, you're charged with putting together the best team of players, the best talent. Caitlin was just a rookie in the WNBA. Wasn't playing bad, but wasn't playing like she's playing now. If we had to do it all over again, the way that she's playing, she would be in really high consideration of making a team.
The Clark controversy didn't just highlight flaws in the selection process, it uncovered deep-rooted issues in how USA Basketball approached team building as a whole. The fallout wasn't just about swapping out one coach or adding a single player. It called for a complete rethinking of what Olympic basketball could and should.
A lot of people shooting the ball extremely well. I mean, she is an elite passer.
If we were playing how she's playing now, she would be in high consideration.
They can't even admit to themselves.
If she was playing how she's playing now,
Yeah, she would definitely won. We could have had our cake and eat it too. We got Kobe and LeBron on the same team. We did.
From 2005 to 2021, USA Basketball's approach seemed like a simple game of I want him, I want her. But now, USA Basketball has just dropped a bombshell on the entire women's Olympic program. Sue Bird, a 5-time Olympic gold medalist, 4-time WNBA champion, and all-around legend, is stepping in as the managing director of the women's national team. This isn't just a change in leadership, it's a total overhaul of how Olympic teams will be built moving forward.
Is expected to be announced as the managing director for the USA women's national team for the 2028 Olympic cycle. She will take on what is known as the Grant Hill role, selecting player rosters and coaching staff. And for those of you who aren't too familiar with the WNBA or the women's side of Team USA, and Grant Hill's a little bit new in this role, Jerry Colangelo Jerry Colangelo, the godfather of Team USA basketball from 2005 to 2021, thinking, I want him, I want him, I want him, I want him.
The announcement, first reported by The Athletic and confirmed by multiple sources, signals a major shift in power. Sue Bird won't be part of a vague advisory committee. She'll have direct authority over both player selection and coaching. Decisions. Sound familiar? It should. This mirrors the structure of the men's team under Grant Hill, who's been in charge since 2021.
USA Basketball will announce a major shift in its structuring on Thursday when Sue Bird is announced as the managing director for the USA Women's National Team 2028 cycle. Her hiring is a departure from a long-standing structure of using a committee to select players and coaches for national team rosters and comes on the heels of a very close call for the USA Women in Paris.
Think about what this means. No more secretive committee decisions behind closed doors. No more coaches claiming they took the heat for choices they supposedly didn't make. The buck stops with Sue Bird. If she wants Caitlin Clark on the team, Clark is on the team, no questions asked. What makes Bird perfect for this role isn't just her basketball IQ, it's her marketing acumen. She knows what drives ticket sales and grows the game. Bird has openly praised Clark's unique appeal, saying, Caitlin in particular, her long-distance threes, I always said this, we finally got the antidote to dunking. She also recognized how Clark shattered the negative perceptions surrounding women's basketball.
Financial opportunities for women grow in the sport, and in marketing, USA Basketball wanted to make sure it was doing everything possible to ensure the allure of playing major international events remained strong, and a phone call from Bird is going to go a long way with players, one source close to the USA program said.
That's not just praise, it's a clear recognition of Clark's marketability. Bird gets it. She understands that while traditional basketball skills are important, star power is just as crucial. The Olympics aren't just about winning gold, medals, though that's obviously the goal. They're about spotlighting the sport to millions of casual viewers who could become lifelong fans.
Bird is taking over as managing director of USA Basketball. And this is done in a model of the men's way of doing it. Okay? She will have the say over who makes the team.
Bird also brings unparalleled credibility with current players, something no one else could match. She's competed alongside or against nearly every established star in the league, so she knows who meshes well, who lifts their teammates, and who falters under pressure. That kind of insight is priceless when putting together an Olympic roster. The timing of this announcement is no accident. USA Basketball watched the fallout from the Clark controversy and saw how it hurt the program's reputation. They witnessed a gold medal game that was far too close for comfort. They realized that sticking with the old system wasn't an option as women's basketball enters its golden age of popularity.
Sue Bird's been a vocal supporter of Caitlin Clark. The fact is, while everybody was coming down on Caitlin Clark last year, so many, she was one that was trying to prop her up and was an advocate for Caitlin. I do not think Caitlin Clark will not make that team next time, I can tell you that.
Bird's appointment marks a clear departure from politics and tradition. It shows that USA Basketball is finally ready to prioritize both elite talent and marketability in team selection. Gone are the days of outdated thinking and secretive committee decisions. Now, it's all about basketball decisions made by someone who understands both the game and its business side. So what does all this mean for Caitlin Clark? Her Olympic future just became a lot more promising, and the story of her potential redemption is only...
Bird's new role is a major change for USA Basketball. Previously, the women's team and coaching staff was named by committee. Now, that is Sue Bird's job. Wow.
When most athletes get snubbed, they vent on social media or give frustrated interviews. Not Caitlin Clark. After being left off the Olympic team, Clark responded by getting even better. This reaction didn't surprise anyone who knows her well. Her high school coach, Kristen Meyer, has witnessed this pattern before. Meyer shared that Clark's biggest improvements have always come after her biggest disappointments. When she didn't make the USA U17 World Cup team in 2018, Clark didn't dwell on it. She transformed her game. As Meyer put it, when adversity hits, you either crumble and feel sorry for yourself, or you dig a little deeper. Clark chose to dig. The same thing happened after Iowa's surprising second-round exit in the NCAA tournament. Every setback became fuel for her growth. It's almost as if Clark thrives on these moments to push herself to new heights. The Olympic snub might just be her biggest motivator yet. By the time the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics roll around, Clark will be 26, right in the prime of her career. That's the sweet spot where physical ability and mental maturity perfectly align.